If you travel, you know when it comes to love.
See you soon.
Can't wait.
The sky is no limit. You know with your Delta Amex card, being oceans apart means meeting in Aruba. And booking a war travel with your card means saving 15% on Delta flights. You know kissing under the bridge of sighs guarantees eternal love. Because you're the long-distance lovebirds. It's why you're a Delta SkyMiles Platinum American Express card member. If you travel, you know. Take off 15 discount not applicable to partner-operated flights or taxes and fees. Terms apply. Visit go.amex/you-know.
Spectrum Mobile brings you our best deal to start the new year. Now you can get unlimited mobile for $15 per line when you get 2 lines. Spectrum Mobile includes nationwide 5G and the fastest wireless speeds with unlimited talk, text, and data. Switch to Spectrum Mobile Unlimited for just $15 per line for 12 months when you get 2 lines with no added taxes or hidden fees and no contracts. Start saving on your mobile bill now. Go to SpectrumMobile.com or visit a Spectrum store near you. Offer subject to change. Valid for new and qualified customers. Service not available in all areas. Per line activation fee, Spectrum Internet, and auto pay required. Restrictions apply.
Introducing Uber Teen Accounts, an Uber account for your teen with always-on enhanced safety features. Your teen can request a ride when you can't take them. You'll get real-time notifications along the way. Your teen can feel a sense of independence. You can follow their entire route on a live tracking map. Your teen will get assigned the top-rated drivers.
Thank you.
You will get peace of mind. Add your teen to your Uber account today. Available in select locations. See app for details.
Hi, listeners. Welcome back. I'm Nedra Glover-Tawwab, and you need to hear this. In today's call, we are talking about unsolicited comments or feedback. I have a lot to say about this. The first thing is we have to be mindful of how we invite people in. Sometimes just talking to a certain person about a topic is an entrance for them to provide feedback. It could be as simple as, I bought a purple house. A purple house. Ooh, I don't like the color purple. Listen, we can just sit here together and stare at walls. Maybe I don't share things because I don't want to hear what you have to say about it. We know who those people are in our lives. We have to figure out what things can we say to particular people and what things we just don't want to talk about. I don't want to talk about real estate with you because then it goes down this path of whatever. I don't want to talk about, things about shopping or my body in front of you because then these sort of comments come out. So figuring out our people can be really helpful. There's a part of us that feels like, well, guess what? I should be able to talk about whatever I want to with my mom, with my brother, with my, we'll put that role there, like whoever that person is. And it's like, well, you can't. You cannot. There are some people, it's like, y'all only really need to talk about weather. Which weather app are you using? Are you using the weather.com or are you using what comes on the, that's all we can talk about. Because if we talk about anything else, it doesn't go very well. You know who those folks are in your life. And sometimes we don't really honor that. We want to give them this information and we want them to show up differently as if they've learned any new skills. They are the same. And when we can accept that and really honor that, we can protect ourselves a lot better. I am thinking of a situation where I used to tell someone something, right? I would tell them this stuff and I'm like, oh, this person would never tell. Well, they told everyone, right? And so it got to the point where I tried this. Hey, don't tell anybody. And then they only told a few people. And I said, silly goose, stop telling them. They can't. And you know what? This person is so nice. They are a very kind, sweet, but can't keep a secret. Now that's their flaw. They can't keep a secret. They can make good macaroni, but they cannot keep a secret. I can have an expectation all day. You need to keep a secret. They can't. So guess what I don't do? I don't share any secrets with this person. Anything that somebody could find out on the internet, that's what I'm going to say. Book coming out tomorrow. I dare not tell them when I'm writing one. Because everybody would know. You would know. So I think it's one of those things where it's like, we have to know our people, and we learn by trial and error, right? Like we learn like, okay, I said this thing, I did this thing, this happened. And it's like we're scientists in relationships, right? Like, okay, so I did this thing, I'll try this next time and we'll see. I do this with my recipes. Whenever I bake something, I like to write it down. One, because I want things to taste the same and I want to make sure I'm putting the same ingredients in it. And I will make notes at the bottom. I'll put on on 12/12/2023, I added pecans instead of walnuts, right? Like I just want to know what's different. And with our relationships, we have to do that too. So, the last time I told them this, or the last time I said this thing, this was the reaction. So what can I do differently? Maybe I share, some part of something with them and I say, hey, before I say this, please don't give me any feedback. I'm just venting. Like, what am I going to do differently so the interaction can be different? Because if I'm doing the same thing, it's going to be the same result each time. I will be disappointed. I will be frustrated. I will be mad at this person because they are just being themselves on a different day, and it's hurting my feelings. Let's get into this letter. I'm excited about this one. Let's go.
I have been trying to navigate the relationship with my mom for years now, and I don't know where else to turn. I took her to family counseling with me about 3 years ago in the hopes of communicating my feelings about hurtful things she had done in my childhood and setting boundaries with the goal of having a healthier relationship. Initially, the main problems were that I felt she made everything in my life about her and her feelings on the topic. I wanted to set boundaries such as don't talk badly about my dad to me. Please stop commenting on my style choices. And please stop giving unsolicited feedback on everything I share with you.
There it is. Everything I share with you. I heard it. I started there, right? Everything I share with you. So there are things that you are giving this person to have feedback about. There are some people who just can't not give feedback. They just can't. I mean, you could put an incense in their face. Oh, that incense. So they just have to say something. Perhaps this is the case, with her speaking badly about your dad to you. When she starts to do it, what do? I know of some folks. I have an uncle in particular, and he just watches all the newses, all the local, world, the paper, all of them. And he loves to report the most tragic things. And I believe the world is a both good and bad place, and lots of things are happening in the world, and I don't absolutely need to know everything that's happening every day, all day. And he will start some of our conversations with, "Oh, did you say?" I did not, because I don't watch the news. "Yeah, you said I don't. What did you have for breakfast?" Because what we will not talk about is the news. I don't need to know all of the tragedy that exists in the world. I wouldn't be able to walk in my house. I'm protecting myself from some anxiety. That's not for everybody, but I know me. And so when these conversations start, that's what he talks about with people. Truly. I think everybody he talks to, it's like he's talking about, that's the how's the weather? It's like, this is the news. I don't want you to speak that way with me. So when you start down that path of death and this and garbage, and we can talk about a lot of things. That's not going to be it. I could think of 2007 other things to talk about, but that's not going to be one of them. It's top of the morning, not how I want to start my day. So here are some things that we could talk about. So I wonder, with your mom, anyone who's listening, with this person in your life who pushes an agenda with conversations, make a list of things you could talk about with this person. They are very good at talking about, maybe work issues. They are very good at helping you pick paint colors. They are very good about helping you to perfect your potato salad. Like, what things do you speak about together that typically is non-confrontational and goes well? When they start to bring up these topics like, oh my gosh, your dad, he's a terrible, hey, That is something that I've asked you before. Please don't talk about that. I understand that you want to vent. I think you should talk to Margaret, your best friend, about that. I think you should maybe find your therapist. But as your daughter, that's a very tough topic for me to hear about. I don't want to talk about that. Is there something else we could talk about? I know that sounds really firm. I know some of you are like, oh, I couldn't say that to my mama, but you've already told her, please don't talk about my dad. I mean, how do you say it the second time? How do you say it the third time? All of those times should sound a little different. I don't know if you've ever seen a teacher in action, but they're like, clap once if you hear my hands, clap twice. It gets a little something to it, and they're not yelling, but they certainly may project a little bit more so that a person can hear them and understand, because the ultimate goal here is to not have conversations about your dad. Style choices. Again, it's the restating that boundary. Hey, I understand that you don't like the color pink, and you may not have to wear it, but it's a color that I love. Please don't make any more comments. What we typically do when people say stuff that we don't like and we've told them one time or two times or three times not to do it, the fifth time that they say it, we let it slide. The sixth time they say it, we let it slide. It'll get all the way back up to 15, and then we're like, "Rawr!" And then, 16, they won't do it. We'll say something. 17, we'll say something. 18 through 32, we've said nothing. It can really work out better for us if each and every time we say something back to them, because they're not going to stop saying it. It's almost like a reprogramming, right? Like, how do I teach you it's not okay to talk about my style choices? How do I teach you that there are some topics that actually make me more depressed and anxious? How do I teach you that I'm trying to have a relationship with my father, and hearing certain things is not helpful? Some of that is us protecting our boundaries with this person. I'm sure we'll get to the point in this where, the person is not listening to the point where, you're tired of talking about it. And we'll talk a little bit about that. Let's go to break. And when we come back, we will get back to the letter.
Travel is all about choosing your own adventure. With your Chase Sapphire Reserve card, sometimes that means a ski trip at a luxury lodge in the Swiss Alps with a few of your closest friends. And other times, it means a resort on a private beach with no one else in sight. Wherever you decide to go, find the detail that moves you with unique benefits at hand-selected hotels from Sapphire Reserve. Chase, make more of what's yours. Learn more at chase.com/Sapphire Reserve.
Cards issued by J.P. Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC. Subject to credit approval.
Farm to store in days, not weeks. That's 80 Acres Farms. Did you know most salads travel over 2,000 miles to reach your plate? But not 80 Acres Farms. Their crisp salad greens and herbs are food less traveled. They stay fresher for longer in your fridge. My salad lasts all week long, which means less food waste and easy meal planning. Oh, and did I mention there's zero need to wash these greens? Because 80 Acres Farms uses zero pesticides. Visit 80acresfarms.com to learn more and find their salads and salad kits at your local Harris Teeter.
At CBS, we've learned a thing or two about living with ghosts.
Hiya, Toots.
Oh, my God.
We know who can see them.
I fell down the stairs. When I woke up, I could see ghosts.
And who cannot.
Are there ghosts in here right now?
Yeah, there certainly are.
We know they want to go up.
Don't leave me here with these peasants! Peasants? Wow. Get over it.
And don't want to go the other way.
Hell is mostly emails and Zooms that should have been emails.
But there's one really, really big thing we're still dying to know.
I think one of the ghosts just left.
What? Who?
Why they make us wait for answer?
It's called a cliffhanger, Thor.
Thursday.
No one's in here. I'll check the library.
Okay, I'll check the kitchen.
We'll finally learn which of our dearly departed.
The library's empty.
I can't see ghosts. I don't know why I went in there.
The new season of Ghosts premieres Thursday, 8:30, 7:30 Central on CBS and streaming on Paramount+.
All right, we're back. Let's listen.
The therapy ended after a couple of sessions, and I don't believe she ever really hurt me. Between then and now, things have ebbed and flowed. We have been pretty low contact, and after one of my more recent visits with her, I've been considering estrangement. When I do see her, I find that my wall comes up and I get defensive. I find that I don't want to share about my life with her because, through experience, I've come to believe that she is not capable of showing up in the way I need her to. She is consistently negative about anything that I get excited about, like graduating law school or going to Europe. I've asked her to be more positive and support me in what I'm excited about, and her response is that it's her job as a parent to say the hard things. It seems as though she always has to tell me why what I'm doing is not how she would be doing it. She believes that she has a right to share her opinion about my life with me even when I don't want it. I see that my inability or unwillingness to talk to her about my personal life hurts her feelings, and I have feelings of guilt that I have ruined our relationship. She says that she doesn't know how to speak to me and that my boundaries are too rigid. I find myself feeling resentful towards her for consistent patterns of an inability to have healthy conversations with me and hear what I have been trying to communicate.
Boundaries will always be highly rigid to a person who doesn't want to listen to them, right? It's like, oh my gosh, I can't understand what you're saying. Do you hear the static? Some people just don't want to listen to us. Unfortunately, sometimes those people are parents. They are, significant others. They are family members. And it's really sad and unfortunate. And there is a way for you to it goes back to what I said at the top of the hour. There's a way for you to be in this relationship and maybe not share as much. Sharing good news with someone who's going to have a lackluster response, that's self-harm. Sharing all of this wonderful information with someone who's going to question you out of your perspective or cause you to change your mind, no. There are ways that you can be supported in this stuff, but it may not be by your mom who is saying, I don't get it. Why can't I say whatever I want to say? Some people truly believe that because I have this role in your life as a parent, I can say whatever I want to say. Your mother is stating her belief. Like, your belief is, no, I should be able to, have these healthy boundaries. And your mother is like, no, you shouldn't. That's tough. And I wonder if you could just sit with that, right? Like, there may not be space in this relationship to get her to change. Is there room in this relationship for you to do some things differently with her? Yeah. It would be, I don't even know if we would call these boundaries if people just listen to whatever we said the first time, or if they just understood, like, yeah, that's not how you talk to people. We wouldn't even need boundaries. We need them because it's not happening for some of us. There are some things that we want improved in our relationship. So with your mom, I'm hearing a few things. One is you're sharing things with a expectation that she will respond differently. So right there, I think you can share when you're ready for her response, or you could maybe not share. When she talks about certain topics with you that make you uncomfortable, I think you can address it and just say that, like, I'm really uncomfortable with you talking about this. Please don't do it. Or you could say, hey, Mom, we've talked about that. And because we've talked about it, I'm now going to change the subject. Your mom saying things like, I don't understand. I don't even know how to talk to you. Well, you've told her. She doesn't want to do it. She wants to be able to talk to you about anything that she wants to talk to you about. So, yeah, she's going to say, oh, I don't know. I don't know what to do. It's like faux helplessness. Like, I don't know what to say here. It's like, I just gave you the paper. Say this thing right here. She doesn't want to. And that's really tough because our expectation sometimes of our parent is that they'll learn and they'll, parent us in this way that we want to be parented. And that is sometimes not true. People have their own agenda when they have children. You have some parents who say, my kids must know 5 languages. My kids must be involved in the arts. My kids will not do any arts. Like, parents have their own agenda. So getting your mother, even through therapy, to parent in a different way, it might not be the the best option because she doesn't want to and she's not ready. She's not seeing any errors in what she's doing. You said, oh my gosh, I don't think she heard me when I was, talking to her in therapy. I think she heard you just fine. She didn't listen. Listening is application, right? Like following through. Oh, I'm going to take that. I'm going to do something with it. She's not listening to you. She heard everything that was said. Now, was she daydreaming when it was said? Maybe. But she heard it. That doesn't mean that she has to implement it. So she did hear you. It's just, it could be, I disagree with you. I think there's another way to do this. I want to do my own thing. There are so many things that could be going on here, but the one thing that you can address is the way that you show up in the relationship. It sounds like your mother is not yet ready to change, but you really, really want her to. Let's take a break and we'll be right back.
Freshly made ravioli or hand-pulled ramen noodles. When you dine with Chase Sapphire Reserve, either will be amazing. Because it's the choice between a front row seat at the chef's table, while getting a live demo of how to make ravioli, or dining family style as you hear the story behind your ramen broth. This weekend it's ravioli. Next weekend, ramen. Find the detail that moves you with immersive dining experiences from Sapphire Reserve. Chase, make more of what's yours. Learn more at chase.com/Sapphire Reserve.
Cards issued by JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC. Subject to credit approval.
Did you know that most salads travel over 2,000 miles to reach your plate? But not with 80 Acres Farms. Their crisp salad greens and herbs are food less traveled, going from farm to store in days, not weeks. They stay fresher for longer in your fridge. My salad lasts all week long, which means less food waste and easy meal planning. Oh, and did I mention there's no need to wash these greens? Because 80 Acres Farms uses 0 pesticides. Visit 80acresfarms.com to learn more and find their salads and salad kits at your local Harris Teeter.
At CBS, we've learned a thing or two about living with ghosts.
Hiya, Toots.
Oh my God!
We know who can see them.
I fell down the stairs. And when I woke up, I could see ghosts.
And who cannot.
Are there ghosts in here right now?
Yeah, there certainly are.
We know they want to go up.
Don't leave me here with these peasants!
Peasants? Wow. Get over it.
And don't want to go the other way.
Hell is mostly emails and Zooms that should have been emails.
But there's one really, really big thing we're still dying to know.
I think one of the ghosts just left.
What? Who?
Why they make us wait for answer?
It's called a cliffhanger, Thor.
Thursday.
No one's in here. I'll check the library.
Okay, I'll check the kitchen.
We'll finally learn which of our dearly departed.
The library's empty.
I can't see ghosts. I don't know why I went in there.
The new season of Ghosts premieres Thursday, 8:30, 7:30 Central on CBS and streaming on Paramount+.
And we're back. Let's keep listening.
Ultimately, I'm wondering if it's me who's the problem for shutting down many topics of conversation with her, or if it is a reasonable response to her inability to listen and support. How do I know if my boundaries are too rigid? How can we have a relationship when she wants to talk about everything, and I only want to talk about topics that I know will not cause conflict? Can we have a relationship at all?
Maybe. It depends on your mom's willingness to talk about other topics. That uncle that I mentioned, he no longer brings up news stories. And he will now start with, I've been trying to cut down on watching the news, which is really wonderful after years of mentioning, oh my gosh, like my anxiety is through the roof when you talk about these things. Like, it took him sort of me saying, like, I notice a shift in my energy when at the top of the day, I'm hearing about tragedy. Like it does something to me. Now, maybe you could watch it and you could go on about your workday and file your papers or whatever you do at work. I can't. Now I'm stuck and it's 8 a.m. This is not good for me. And so I think he started to notice like, wow, like I talk about this a lot with people. Like there's so many other things to talk about, but it did take some consistency on my part to say, can we talk about something else? I'm willing to talk about other things. Just what could those things be outside of the things that you would normally go to in conversation? I think about that sometimes when, certain people are heavy on the gossip. And, it's like, okay, well, I don't want to talk about that person and their husband, but, there are other topics that I love to talk about. Like what's the appropriate heel length? Is it 3 inches or 4? Like what feels good on your foot? Like I can think of tons of things to talk about and just shift that conversation to something else. So again, I encourage you to think of what can you talk about? Make a list. These are things I can talk about with my mom. These are topics that we're able to process without arguing. Here's a good space where she can listen. When I have good news, I will wait blank amount of days before I share it. Maybe you need to get a massage before you share it and watch 2 comedies and then let her know. You may be able to figure out some rhythm there. Or you can decide, this is a person I just don't want to talk to about anything or talk to at all. You have options. But I do want you to know sometimes we can be in relationships with unchanged people because we've changed. I no longer have that expectation that you're going to have anything helpful or, inviting to say when I tell you this. I no longer have the expectation that you won't talk about my father. I no longer have the expectation that you should like my style. I've changed my expectations of you. And, a thing about style is so particular and personal. And even when I'm shopping in the store, I'll look at the salesperson and they like, yeah, you should get this. And I look at their outfit. I'm like, girl, I don't want to dress like you. So it's such a personal, there may be certain colors, certain cuts, certain, fabrics where it's like, not my thing. So someone's saying like, oh, I don't like that shirt. Well, what kind of shirts do they wear? Are those shirts that you even want to wear? I think about that. It's so personal. Now, they don't have to share with you that they don't like your shirt, but style is such a personal thing. And so sometimes when people are saying things, it's really personal to them. And I get it. They feel like they have this perspective. But, in my head, I'm like, you're not Naomi Campbell. I'm not listening to you, but I don't want to say thank you, but, even maybe saying, hey, our style is different. Like sometimes the age gap with a mother and daughter, like there's so many things there that you can say that might transition that conversation. I think about my children who are in midriff showing era. And you know what I think about it? I'm like, oh, my stomach would be so cold. That's what I feel like. I like a high rise. I want my belly button covered at all times. It's cold out here. So these are the things I think about. And they're like, yes, belly out. Like it's not that they need to dress like me. I need to dress like them. There are some things I just need to be quiet about. And some of us don't know that. Some of us have not mastered the power of quiet. Some of us have not mastered your opinion doesn't matter. We are still a work in progress, or we not even working. How about that? Some of us are on break from any healing, and it's prolonged. It's always under construction forever and ever. We haven't started. Some of us are not doing any work, and when we're not doing any work and we're in these, relationships with folks like you who I'm sure has, followed me on Instagram, read my book, you listen to this podcast, you are healing. You are on a journey. You know the boundaries of parent and child and what parents shouldn't talk about with children. You know that it's not okay for you to comment on people's fashion and body and all of this stuff. Your mother, she may not know that. I don't know if she follows me on Instagram. I don't know if she read the books. I don't know if she listened to the podcast. And if she did, you know what she may say when she look at those videos? Look at that girl hand gesture. She's silly. Like who knows so what someone else is getting from something. But our healing is our healing. And somebody else's not healing, lack of growth, stuckness, that's their stuff. And one thing that many of us do not have time for is to do anybody else's work. I can't even do all the work I'm supposed to do. Not in a day and probably not in a lifetime. So I certainly cannot help another person do their work. I would fail daily. So here's all the work you have to, and put A over there. No, no, we don't have that level of time. What we can do is our stuff. And when we're reading these books, going to therapy, listening to podcasts, we are hopefully learning how to exist in the world with people who are doing none of that. With a level of compassion that says, look how much they're hurting. They don't even see how they're showing up. Instead of, they need to change like me. I hear a lot of steps in between. This work is hard. It's really hard. And sometimes I understand why people don't do it at all. Because I'd be like, I do not want to feel anything. I don't. I do not want to feel these feelings. I would rather not today. So even uncovering this stuff, recognizing that there were some judgment errors in your parenting, that's a lot. That's a lot. You need to hear this. You may be the only person in your relationship doing the work. And what is the work? The work could be, unraveling some of the things that you were taught that are no longer helpful. Learning how to exist in relationships with people in a boundaried and healthy way. You may be the only person doing that. So do not be shocked when you encounter people who are not open to the work and who are not open to change. You Need to Hear This is an iHeart production hosted by me, Nedra Glover Tawwab. Our executive producer is Joelle Monique. Our senior producer and editor is Mia Dawn Taylor. Send us a voice memo with your questions about boundaries and relationships at youneedtohearthis@iheartmedia.com. Please be sure to rate our show wherever you listen to it and share this episode with someone who needs to hear this. Talk to you next time.
On CBS, when we last left Ghosts, it was a cliffhanger to die for.
Oh my God!
What?
I think one of the ghosts just left.
What? Who?
I have no idea.
CBS this Thursday.
Why they make us wait for answer?
It's called a cliffhanger, Thor.
We'll finally learn which of our dearly departed.
I'll check the library.
Okay, I'll check the kitchen. I can't see ghosts. I don't know why I went in there.
Find out when Ghosts returns this Thursday on CBS and streaming on Paramount+.
Farm to store in days, not weeks. That's 80 Acres Farms. Did you know most salads travel over 2,000 miles to reach your plate? But not 80 Acres Farms. Their crisp salad greens and herbs are food less traveled. They stay fresher for longer in your fridge. My salad lasts all week long, which means less food waste and easy meal planning. Oh, and did I mention there's zero need to wash these greens? Because 80 Acres Farms uses zero pesticides. Visit 80acresfarms.com to learn more and find their salads and salad kits at your local Harris Teeter.
Introducing Uber Teen Accounts. If you have a teenager, you probably drive them around a lot. Maybe you're even driving them right now. New Uber Teen Accounts are a parent-supervised Uber account with always-on safety features that let your teen request a ride when you can't take them yourself. Your teen gets to ride with a highly rated driver, and you get to follow along with real-time notifications and live trip tracking in your Uber app. Add your teen to your Uber account today. Available in select locations. See app for details. See app for details. See app for details. See app for details.